Welcome to the Your True Purpose podcast with David Marshall, helping you to create the life you were born to live.
Hi and welcome to this podcast. David Marshall here and a very warm welcome. Today we're talking about something slightly different other than spirituality, but we're talking about how to create a business based around your spirituality, based around your purpose. A lot of people want to create a business, they become more spiritual, more self-aware, they want to change their life and transform many parts of it. And today we're talking about the 5 lessons that I've learned working in business online in my own purpose-driven business since 1996 to help you avoid the mistakes and give you some insights into that. So stay tuned. Okay, so let's just start by giving you a little bit of background about my own purpose-driven business. So as a child, I had lots of out-of-body experiences with non-physical people. The fact that I discovered more and more that reality, the universe, the world we exist in isn't a physical place in the way that we've been taught, wasn't a massive surprise to me, having had those experiences from the age of about 3. But when I was working for Whitbread, I discovered I could do healing so that I could put my hands on somebody and their pain would go away. I didn't ask for it. I was interested, of course, and it just worked every single time. And so I decided I wanted to create a purpose-driven business. I wanted to do this for a living. Now, the problems were I'd never done that before. I'd managed 13 restaurants and thousands of staff, but I'd never created my own business. I also didn't really have a vision or a goal of what it would look like. Now, as it happens, of course, the universe delivered a therapy center, a healing center, if you like, and I actually created a healing center, a spiritual center in Hitchin, in Hertfordshire, and everything took off from there. But the problem was I really hadn't engaged my intellect in the process. I was much too driven intuitively without actually having the skills that I needed in order to create success. Now, over the years, I taught several thousands of people healing. I started my own Reiki school back in 1996. I taught lots of people psychic surgery, spirituality, self-awareness, all those things. But it wasn't the financial success that it should have been because I'd really fallen into a few traps. And one of them is that not realizing that my beliefs about money, my beliefs about people would play out in this process and that I had some limiting ideas around money. And therefore that really got in the way of me being able to actualize the income. Now I had a family, we'd moved in above the healing center and it was great on one level. And financially, not great at all. And I see a lot of people falling into the same traps in that they will go into what they think is an intuitively purpose-led business, but they're still falling into the traps. They're not making money. They're certainly not making any profit. And that doesn't have to be the case. So what I've got is a few lessons, a few ideas, if you like, that may help you, hopefully, lessons in how you can actually create a business based on your purpose and make it successful. And so that's what we're going to get into today. So what is purpose? So what do we think that is? Well, ultimately, I'm aware that my purpose is to understand the nature of who I am, my immortality, how I relate to this world, this reality, and all those things. So that's the broader purpose. Now, there's another purpose. I have children. I need to provide an income and all those types of things. So how do you marry all that up when you're so driven, as a lot of people are, by this inner compulsion that we have when we begin to expand our awareness and we begin to engage with kind of other senses, inner, spiritual, intuitive senses, and you think, I just don't want to work in this office anymore. That's not what I'm here to do. So we know that purpose or a sense of it exists, but the key thing is, for a lot of people, it's kind of counterintuitive. So you might say, look, I'm going to go and be a healer, as I did. And everyone said, you're absolutely crazy, even though the healing worked and all those types of things. So you're also kind of fighting against what appears to be, to other people, a really counterintuitive decision. So the pitfalls that people come across are they're not commercial enough. And because a lot of people they become spiritual, in inverted commas, I'm waving my fingers here, in inverted commas, they become spiritual, they become more self-aware. And what happens is they don't want to deal with that money anymore. They see that money, as it is true, drives everything in this world of ours, and they kind of rally against it. And that's a problem. Okay, that is a problem. That's a real pitfall. So the second one is you don't really know how to run a business. You don't really know the processes, because there are definite systems and processes and strategies you need to know in order to build the business. Certainly, when I began to do healing for my business, I didn't know. Obviously, that was 20 years ago now. I didn't know what I know now. So first one is that people aren't commercial enough. The second one, they don't know how to run a business. And the third one is that they don't tend to solve a real problem. So actually, their offering into the market is not one that's very specific. So I'll give you an example. So when I was doing healing, although it worked for everything, I mean, epilepsy, hepatitis, I work with people with cancer, it absolutely worked. I was struggling to make money, and which is why I first went on the internet in 1996. But I was struggling to make money at that until I realized I needed to solve a problem. I needed to be able to offer a problem. So I began to work on people with bad backs. And because of that, I could raise my prices. Everyone got better. Now, it doesn't mean that I stopped working with all the other people that came through the door, but I got known for working with people with bad backs, and it worked really, really well. So I was still within my purpose, but I was also being a lot more commercial. And that is what I want to get across to you, is that you really must think in these terms, or you're going to struggle, unfortunately. Because as much as we may say, well, Spirit's going to provide and all those types of things, you are the Spirit. That's the lesson. That's the purpose of your life, to understand you're not physical in the way that you think you are. And so although people outside, call them people outside of physical reality, can obviously support and help and guide and all those things, fundamentally it's up to us to learn how to create our own reality, okay, which comes back to your ideas, your beliefs, and all those types of things. So a few things to think about. So what I'd encourage you to do is to really think about, you've got to accept this world, okay, this reality as it is. It's a commercially driven thing. Now, that doesn't mean you've got to buy into it totally, but you must realize that actually that it's driven a lot by money, finance. Everybody has things, bills to pay, no matter where you are in the Western world, if you like. So that is just the fact of what we've created. Now, there are reasons for that in the broadest sense, but in truth, you've just got to accept that how it is. And therefore, one of the main things that came across to me is somebody said, they said, well, what's money? So I said, well, it's all energy, man. And I was very much on that kind of camp. But then I realized, and then because they kind of pointed out that, money has to come from somebody else's bank account. So somebody has to, in this world, in this reality, somebody has to transfer money from their bank account. They have to put money in their pocket. They have to transfer it to your bank account. And you have to, and nobody's just going to do that, or very few people are going to do that just because you ask them to. It just doesn't work that way. And that's part of our creation. So I want to encourage you to accept money completely as part of our creation. Now, of course, it's overstated. Of course, it's over-focused on all those things. But if you have any limiting ideas around money, of money not being, there's something wrong with it, or the idea, the root of all evil is money, all these things, then it doesn't matter how much you drive your purpose-driven business. What's going to happen is it's going to fail, and you're going to struggle to pay your bills. And then all your fears and things will come in, because you won't be able to create the life that you want. We have bills to pay. Money does exist. We're actually creating money just as much as we're creating anything else in this reality. And therefore, I'd encourage you to accept it wholeheartedly and really just accept somebody has to get into their bank account, transfer it to you, and you have to do something. You have to have some kind of offering in order for them to happen. Now, it can happen, of course, for millions of offerings. But what I want to do is encourage you to really get grounded about what it is that you're doing. So there's 5 lessons here I just want to go through with you that, based on 20 years online business, 20 years working in my own purpose-driven business and earning money doing that. So the 5 lessons are, the first one is, look, be commercial, okay? Define your income goals. If it's 100,000 a year, then, that's what it is. If it's 50,000 a year, but do define them. Remember, intention drives action and motivation. And so really think about, how much money do you want to earn? And just really focus on that, because you have to give, reality. People call it the universe, but let's call it reality. You have to give reality in yourself something to work with. And that's why it's good to have financial goals. The second one is, look at your beliefs around money. If you have any kind of idea that money's evil or that you don't deserve it, so self-worth, all those types of things, then that's going to hinder your ability to create income. So take some time out and write down all your beliefs around money. Just, kind of dump them down on a bit of paper, and then begin to work in your dreams. Okay, that's a really good way to begin to uncover these ideas, to get over them, to be able to explore them. Go to bed at night with the intention of exploring and expanding your ideas around money and income. And I promise you, you'll begin to have quite a few ideas and quite a few bits of self-awareness around those. Self-worth is really a key as well, because a lot of people who do, I would call it healing work, shall we, kind of coaching and all that type of stuff, then their self-worth, often isn't that great. So if that's you, you need to focus on that. So the third one is focus on solving a problem. So you must, as I said, somebody must transfer money from their bank account to your bank account. So solve a problem. For me, it was backaches. That's what works for me. Also, I do marketing for other companies, purpose-led companies, working with people that I enjoy working with. And I help them by solving the problem of, how do they get online? How do they get leads? How do they grow their business, and all those types of things? So it's really important that you solve and define that problem within your purpose. The fourth one is to embrace some kind of level of technology, but not all of it. Now, I've been online for 20 years or so, and so I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm all over the place. But you don't have to be, okay? So just focus where the market is. Probably people my age, I'm 52, will be on Facebook and Instagram more than anything else, and YouTube as well. So just pick a couple of platforms, work on them, and focus on, number 5 tip is, keep it simple. Focus on giving value. And then you can ask for something back, which is, hey, do they want to download your book, or do they want to work with you? But focus on, if 80% is giving some kind of value and 20% is asking for something. So the final one, I would say, is focus your attention on success. The rule of conscious creation, because remember, we're not dealing with a physical environment here. And if you listen to any of my other podcasts, you'll begin to explore that, as science is doing, and all the, we're not dealing with a physical environment. And you get what you focus on. So focus on success. Find ways to focus on success in your business, and to remove those limiting ideas, to offer value, to be commercial. And if you're doing that consistently, then your business will grow without a doubt. And, believe in yourself. You are literally limitless and timeless, formless in truth, but we'll get into that in another podcast. You have so much potential, but you have to make sure that you do put the everything in the right place in order to create the success that you deserve. So that's it for today. I hope that's of interest to you. Please comment wherever you find this. Tune into the podcast. I've got a YouTube channel, Instagram as well, and hopefully I'll see you on Facebook, and we'll put some links around this podcast, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please click below to download your free copy of David's book, The Dream We Call Earth.